Hi everyone, welcome to the series Custom Code with Bubble. This is the part 2 of the video. So, introduction to custom CSS for Bubble developers. So, in this video, we will see how we can use custom CSS and why do we even need it. So, first, why we need a custom CSS? Basically, for custom styling, which is not provided by default in Bubble, because Bubble is a no-code tool. It provides you the thing that you can use 90% of the things you can control, but for the 10% you need custom CSS to styling. For example, box shadows, or if you want to use grid or flex box things, so you have to use custom CSS. Second thing is custom animations. So for example, you see that you want a custom animation. For that, maybe Bubble does not have that default settings, plus maybe you don't have any plugin for it, or you don't have the plugin customization that you need. So again, we need to use CSS for that. Third is that create UI component like custom form, beautiful button, tooltip, cart, models. So for this type of things, you might need a custom CSS library. Fourth is optimization. So now the thing is that Bubble add this styling, gives you the functionality to add a component easily. But if you see that the source code of the project, for example, if I see you right click and I do inspect, you can see this button has lot of inline styling. This is called inline styling. So Bubble does a lot of things because it is a web builder. Okay, so maybe sometime you are doing a custom complex animation, and for that maybe performance of your applications is drastically performing bad. So in that case, you have to use custom CSS logic so that Bubble does not add this type of inline styling. Instead, you do a CSS style of that component. So I will show you that what I mean in this series. Okay, so in previous video I show you that where we can put our JavaScript files. So now let's talk about where we can put our CSS file. So mainly three places. Of course there are multiple places as well, but mainly three places. Page header. So basically if I go here, I select any page and I can add the HTML file here. This is HTML header. So inside HTML you can write CSS and JavaScript as well. So I can link a CSS library. Okay. Second step is meta tag in header. So suppose if you add any styling, CSS styling here, it will only applicable to this page. Maybe you want to apply that styling in your whole applications, in every single page. For that you have to go to the settings page and SEO metadata tab, and you can add script tags or CSS link from here. But these two are come with paid plan, so it might possible that you are testing in a free app and you are trying this to feature and then it don't work. So let's talk about the three. We can add an HTML element, and we can add HTML element and add CSS there. So previous video we have shown you that you can add JavaScript there. In this video you can add CSS there as well. So this will work for free and paid plans as well. So the thing is similar. You can add your code here, or here, but the things will work in three places as well. So for this video I am using it in this place, but you can add the same code in here, it will work, but just you need a paid plan for that. So let's come to here. So in last video what we've seen that if we click on the print page, then it was showing this print page text or button that we don't want when we are printing it. So how we can get rid of it? So let's talk about that. We need a custom CSS to remove this, or we set display to none when you are printing it. So let's come to the code thing, and now we can add a HTML component here, and here we can write a style tag. So every CSS is written inside style tag. So this is a style tag. Now we can add anything here. For example, this is a h1 tag, so I can do like h1 and I can write color is red, for example, and if I just refresh the page, you can see that the color of this text will change. Now it doesn't change. Let me check why. Okay, so I did a typo here, so this is good for debugging. So after red we need a semicolon, not a normal colon. So let's retry it. Okay, now still it didn't work. Let me see why. Maybe because h1 h1 is giving bubble gives h1 a default styling, so we need to make our styling important so that it does work. So let's say important. If we take important here, so to debug this, how you can debug it, you can right click it and you can do inspect, and you can say that okay, bubble is giving you a bubble is adding a color. So that is why our color is not overriding it, because inline style is obviously higher than that we set in here. Okay, if these things is confusing you, just watch the video 2 or 3 times, you will understand. So basically whatever we adding here is overridden by the bubble through inline style. So what we have to do is we had to add the important tag. Okay, so we can add the important tag. So now our style will try to override bubble style. So this has higher precedence. Now it clearly show the red color. So if we select it, you can see that this is the h1 tag, and you can see that this is our custom styling that we added, and basically the color that added by bubble is overridden by us because we added the important tag. So this is very important topic, that you may need to use important this tag so that our CSS override the bubble style. So that's how it will work. Okay, now we want to whenever we add the print statement, we want to hide it. Now for that we need to select this element. Now for h1 we know that we have only one h1, that is why I select it. But what if there are multiple h1 tags? So then we have to select it via id. So let me show you. For example, I am copy pasting this. Okay, so this is a second title. Okay, now if I just run this code, what will happen? It will select both titles and change the color. But for example, we only want to change the one color. So for that we have to select via id. So there's a concept called id and class in CSS. So the two things are for selecting one element or multiple element. id, you can consider it like for one page it should have one unique id for one element, but it can be multiple classes for one element. Okay, for one page. For example, to add id, you have to go to settings and you have to go to general, and you have to add this last option, this checkbox, expose the options to add an id attribute to HTML elements. So what it does, it gives you a input to add id to this title. So let's me add a id attribute, for example my heading. Okay, and this does not have any id attribute. So now we know that we have to select this header with this id attribute. Let me show you first that how it add the id. So if I select it, you can say that you can see that its id is equal to my heading, this added by the bubble. So this thing. So now we can style it. For example, we can add like for selecting id we have to use hash sign. So hash my header. So now let's see what happens, because now we are selecting via the id, not with the title. Now nothing works. Okay, why is that? So let me see. So this is my heading. I think I misspell it, my heading, and you have to use my header. So that is why, so ID needs to be match exactly the same. So now if I refresh, this should be red, but this is not red because this does not have the ID, the my heading. Okay, so now it often happens that what if that we have two buttons. For example, I am deleting this. This is my component, and we want to select this. So we can add ID here, that maybe my button, Control C, Control V, and this has also ID button. But I already said that for one page we need only one unique ID for one element. Okay, so we can't use same ID twice. So to if we want to select these two button, and so how can we do? We can add use of classes. So for that we have a plugin called Classify. So it add classes into the element. So this is the Classify plugin. So come to the plugin page. So now instead of ID we can add bracket, and we can add class, and we can add my button. Okay, and now we can copy paste it here also, because now this is not a ID, this is a class. So now I am refreshing it. So now the two button should have a class. See, this button class has my button, and this is also has my button. Now we can select these two and we can do something, right? So let change the attribute color to red. For example, this has color. Okay, and we have background color of this. So let's change the background color to red. Now we only need to change the style for a class, and now because the two buttons are using same class, then both of the background will be changed. Let's see that. So for selecting class we have to use period or dot, you can say, that you have under keyboard above alt, right alt keyboard, you have the period button in your keyboard. Okay, so now I can write my button, that we same text that we used here. So this is my button, we have to use here same. So my button color red, instead of color red we can use background color red, and we have to use important because we have to override bubble style that you already know. See, the two button classes background color is now changed, and this is changed via custom CSS. Okay, now this is not what we want, so let me delete the thing. What we want, that whenever we click the print page we want to hide it. So for that, if you go here, we have to use media query. So let me search it here. So how to hide element when printing web page using CSS. So you can say that we have to use media print and visibility hidden. Okay, so by doing this, whenever we are printing the page, it will hide the component. Okay, this is given by the CSS technology. Okay, so let's do this. First we have to wrap it around media print and my button. Now I don't want to change the background color, I want to set display none, and we have to set to important tag. Okay, we have to set it here, and now let's see how we can, if it is working or not. If we click, just a second. Okay, did I remove the, okay, I guess I removed the wrong button. Anyway, I just quickly add this run JavaScript that we added in previous page. So print, just a second. So print page. Now you can say that the print page button is not visible. So that's how you do it. But one more thing that you have to understand, that generally if you are using HTML element that you have and you want to use it in various places, then you have to copy this HTML element and use it in that page. Or if you don't want to, if you want to apply to all the pages, then you have to use a header element or a custom styling. For example, if I want to use it in all the pages, then I cut from here and I have to paste it under SEO meta tags, and I can paste it here. Now it will gonna apply in all the pages. Now the issue is that I am using a free plan, so I can't show you right now, but you can test it. It will work, definitely work. Okay, now one more thing that we have to understand is that currently we are adding the CSS from here, which is not maintainable, which is very hard to maintain the things, because the code is like here and we don't have a track that where we added it or not. So what generally people do is they take all the code and they create a CSS file and they host it separately. Let's say they host it in AWS S3 or Cloudflare R2 database. So they host it in somewhere else and then link the CSS file in header. So let me tell you how it can be done. Just a second. So for that you need a account in AWS. So you can use any platform to host this CSS file. I am using AWS for everything that I want to show you. So let me open my AWS console. So after opening it, it will show like this, and you can click on S3. S3 is like a general purpose bucket, so basically a hosting service. So let me create a new bucket. This is how you will gonna do it. So my bucket name, I can add anything to my bucket name, so it should be unique. That is the point here. So for example, my bubble files, and let's see January 24 for example. This is disabled, fine. Now you have to unblock it because you need to access it from outside world. So that is why I have to uncheck it. Click in the checkbox. Okay, now just create it. Now in the meantime, let me open a CSS file. So in the meantime, I have created a folder CSS and I opened it in a VS Code. This is a editor, you can use any editor of your want. And now I have to add the CSS that I want to do. So for example, I would like to name it, for example, file.css or anything if you want. File name doesn't matter here. So now we have to add the same code that we added in the HTML tag. For example, we can add my button, and then we can do media print and then my button, and then we can do display none, and we have to use important tag. This is the same code. Now we are not using the style tag because style tag is for HTML, but this is purely a CSS file. That is why. Now how we will upload it into the S3 bucket, let me show you. So for example, the bucket we have created, you have to open it. Now you have to upload a file. So select the file that you want to do. I selected the file and now I can click on upload. So this is uploaded in the S3 bucket. Now that does not mean that I can access it. For example, if I open it, this after CSS file we don't need it anything. So if I open it, it will show like it is access denied. So we have to open access for it. So how we gonna do it? So let ask ChatGPT. So here I am in ChatGPT. Sorry for that. I am here in ChatGPT. So let me write I have a S3 bucket I want to access all files from outside. So how to make it publicly accessible. So we have to add a bucket policy. So let's just copy it and just go to the bucket that we created, go to permissions and come to here, bucket policy. So we have to edit it and paste what ChatGPT give us. So basically this is giving the read access from outside, and we have to replace the bucket name from here. So this is the bucket name, copy it and paste it, and now I have to save the changes. Now if I refresh it, it is giving me the code. Okay, so let's just add it inside the HTML element. Instead of style, we have to use link element with rel is equal to style sheet, and href we have to put the link and close the link. Now these all the things you can find from ChatGPT or CSS documentation. Now one thing you have to make sure that don't check this box, iframe. This is for different thing. If you check this, then this CSS will not apply to whole page. So let's see how if it works or not. If we click, okay, it works. Okay, and let me show you that it fetched the data or not. Network tab, go to CSS, click on the CSS and refresh it. You can see this file.css file. This is fetching from our AWS that we added here. So now you know that you can host our CSS file in separate server and use it from here. One more thing is we can similarly do the JavaScript thing. We can host our JavaScript in separate AWS S3, and we can put our link here, and then it will work just fine. So I think we learned a lot in this video, and if you want help in custom coding, you can hire me. All the details are in the link below. So see you in the next video. Bye.